And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to the Dad Mode Podcast, Common Sense Parenting in a Politically Correct World. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, Common Sense Parenting in a Politically Correct World. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I am a father. I'm a daddy. I have no idea what I'm doing, but you and either there, Chiefy, so let's try and learn something together today. Website is dadmodepod.com. Tweet at us at dadmodepod, or just use the hashtag dadmode. And today, we're revisiting a topic. I haven't quite done that yet, but episode 70, we're going to have some rehashing and attacking some topics at different angles. Also joining me is Nick, his son. Hey.
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Good. Now it's 7 in el morning on a Saturday. Now, as a child, growing up, playing video games all day, is this how you imagine adult Saturday mornings would be like?
No, not really. Not at all.
No cartoons, no Fruity Pebbles, just an over-caffeinated Andy on the other side of the internet phone.
I definitely did not picture internet phones back in the day.
Now, yeah, that's absolutely insane, because when we were growing up, internet was just starting to be a thing. And your first internet, was it 28.8 or 56K?
I think 56K.
Rolling, look at you, la-ti-da.
We peaked much later than most people, though.
It happens. But just like back then, and what internet and technology has become now, and back when you were in 7th grade, you just never thought about Snapchat or Instagram or YouTube even. And it's just like, man, the technology I'm going to be yelling at Muggsy for being on when she's 17 isn't even going to be invented for 14 years.
Muggsy, get off that space phone, I mean, I can't, it's...
Muggsy, get off that satellite phone. Stop calling North Korea. Our relatives are in the Saudi.
I was taking a step further. Stop calling Mars. Good.
Because we'll have a colony there, by the way. The topic. Probably should talk about the topic. Deadbeat parents, deadbeat dads. Why do parents leave? And we've talked about it before, but a new article sort of set me off. Something that also sets me off is Amazon, dadmodepod.com/Amazon. Bookmark the page, and we'll get a little taste every time you buy a little some. The article was on Jezebel, and it was about a freelance writer, and he had 3 kids, not with the mother of any of them. I think 2 were from the same mom, ex-wife, and the other one was from a casual relationship, I think he called them. And it was titled, I love my children and I owe them so much money. And essentially it was a story of a guy who is a writer and used to be making low 6 figures at some sort of corporate gig. But now, after the recession, time's been kind of lean, even though it's going on a decade. And he talks about his odyssey, working odd jobs in marijuana fields, or just writing the random article here and there. And it was more of a takedown of child support services of California, and how they're basically very gangster on garnishing his wages, cutting up his checks, things like that. He actually did hold down a real job working for UPS for $10 an hour. Except then he complained about how they're garnishing his check 70%, and how he could not go on like that, even though the 70% of his wages were going to his kids, which were rightfully going to his kids. And the whole piece, I've read about 4 or 5 times, and every time I still don't know exactly how to feel about it. Like I'm obviously pissed, which is my natural modus operandi when it comes to stupidity. But I can't figure out his angle. Like, what is he trying to get sympathy for himself, his situation, the plight of the child support alimony paying dads, or the plight of the writer? I really don't know. Something I don't feel bad for is him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough. That's 70% is a lot, but that's interesting. I don't know. How many kids was it?
3 kids.
Okay. Huh.
And the thing is, like, yes, they're garnishing your wage at 70%, except that's 70% of your 40-hour-a-week check. That's $400. 70%. Oh, for ease of math, we won't do taxes, but they obviously take out taxes. So $280 every single week is going to your kids, split up 3 ways. That's $93.33333 going to your kids, as opposed to 0. And who cares that you're busting your hump, and who cares that you'll only bring home a couple of nickels, but your kids are getting almost $100 a week, which they weren't getting before. And that helps.
Are they different mothers or all same mother?
We already went over this, Nick.
Really? Did you say that just now?
Yeah. First 2 kids were with an ex-wife, and one was with a casual acquaintance.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to Google the article when you were talking. I zoned out. I zoned out a little bit.
You're telling me that you don't pay attention to every single word I say in detail.
You know how many podcasts you have? You know how many that I listen to? It's a lot. I'm always mostly informed at 7 a.m.
You and the Russian cyber bots, my only listeners. That's good. Oh, and the other podcast talking about the Andy Carlson Show, the Purple for the Win podcast, and also the Andy Lucanary Football Machine on iTunes and Stitchers. Football Machine's taking off. It's good.
That's very, very important. Yeah, I mean, you know, I hear a lot of stories of people who just don't pay child support and just disappear. I mean, are people actively enforcing, are police actively enforcing people to pay child support nowadays?
Well, you can be locked up for failure to pay child support, but yeah, like you said, there are just so many stories, and it's almost like a badge of honor when you hear some of these stories about dad saying, "It's like, yeah, man, I owe $100,000 of child support, but that bitch ain't seeing a nickel." And even though he's trying to get back at the ex-wife or the baby mama that he's royally pissed at, he's hurting the kid. He is absolutely hurting the kid.
And that's the most important thing they get out of it. I mean, we have to care about the welfare of the kids. I mean, the kid, not having the financial support that he or she deserves. I mean, they're going to grow up probably rotten too, and not, with having a good example. And yeah, it's a shame. But this California case isn't the only case, and I think that's a more alarming concern.
And let's see here. These numbers are from 2011, so a little bit dated, but overall in the United States, $35.1 billion in child support is owed, with fathers representing only 17% of custodial parents. So basically, child support, 4 out of 5 parents that are owed child support are women.
Wait, what was that? Did you say billion?
Billion.
Oh my gosh, that's oh my god, that's so much money.
Well, yeah, that is absolutely a lot of money. But all right, so let's do the math here. So 35, 1, did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, divided by 300 million Americans. So if this child support number is right, it'd be like if every single American, roughly 300 million of us, including old people, including children, including infants, we divide up that child support equally, we'd each owe $1,170.
Oh my goodness.
That is insane.
That's an insane number.
But you got to think that there's a number of cases where the guy is well off, earning mid 6 figures at a good job, maybe even 7 figures, and he is just doing it to stick the mom. And not defending the practice at all, but that there are a number of cases where the mom is not properly spending that alimony or child support. She's spending it on shoes and going out to the club as opposed to Teletubbies and baby shoes. I don't even know if kids watch Teletubbies anymore, but that's my dated reference.
God, I don't think that show's even on anymore.
Yeah, probably not. It's the Wiggle Wubbies.
I'm more afraid of the really poor, low-income people who are having a ton of kids and can't afford any child support. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah, that's my problem with the guy who wrote the article, in that he had these 2 kids, broke up with his wife, and was already experiencing part of the recession because I believe the daughter is the youngest, so she was probably born after the recession, after he already lost his job. And so the fact that he was struggling to support his ex-wife and his 2 existing children, and then just goes off and has another kid with a casual acquaintance, it's that's just massive irresponsibility. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. You want to get your freak on. You want to get your swerve on. But, I mean, just wrap it up, B. I mean, come on. Not all of us make Adrian Peterson money.
So you think you think they had that kid on purpose?
No.
Accidental, baby.
Like 0.0 chance that was, planned. But like you said, when you don't have a parent in your life, if you're a boy, you're going to grow up angry in the world. You're not going to have any direction. And they always talk about having, whether it be, gay marriage or, lesbian marriage and having kids like that, as long as there is someone to fill that fatherly role, whether that means tough love, discipline, laying down the law, laying down boundaries, showing that boy what it does mean to be a man, then that'll be fine. And kids need something like that, whether it be an actual father, whether it be a grandfather, whether it be a mentor, preferably a birth dad. I mean, hopefully he's around and is able to fill that void because he's got that duty. But girls, if they don't have their dad, daddy issues, I mean, we've seen it. You see it at the KOD.
I haven't been to a KOD in months, for the record. Folks, Your Honor, not been there forever.
Technically, a Nick's month consists of 3.5 hours. He's like a moth.
Best years of my life were there. No.
It's like the saying. It's like your job as a dad is keep the boys off the pipe and the girls off the pole. And if you're not there, the rate of them getting to both drastically increases.
I will say, for those who are, same-sex couples, women, I mean, I think usually one of the women takes a more, masculine, points to fill up that gap. So not to alienate any of our listeners.
No, that's the point I was getting to, too. Same thing with 2 dads is that one of them has to take on a more motherly role because as much as we talk about the genders being equal, and they are, when it comes to biology and raising children, there's something that boys and girls do need from both a father and a motherly figure, if anything else.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because like if Crystal wasn't around, like if she ran off to Winnipeg, because that's the hot spot for women running away, I would struggle raising Muggsy on my own because there's a lot of things from the feminine perspective that I couldn't exactly provide. And that's why you see, dads where the mom passes away and they have daughters, they tend to raise tomboys because that's really all they know. Unless it's Crossroads, Dan Aykroyd raised a very feminine Britney Spears. I
want to say something, but I actually have not seen that movie.
Baloney.
I'm honest. I have not.
Now, see, my big question was, how does Dan Aykroyd agree to do that movie? I mean, come on. You were my girl, Dan. You were my girl.
That was a good movie. I missed that.
That was a good movie. Macaulay Culkin died. It was great.
Oh, don't spoil it for our listeners. Oh. I guess.
All right, so take a quick side street. What's the statute of limitations for putting out spoilers? Like, say, new Game of Thrones episode came out. Like, what's your timeline? A couple days, a week, what?
For TV shows that are hot now that are still going on, I just don't think you can give them out at all. But right, what about movies? Okay, so My Girl, that was a joke there. I think movies should have like a 5-year. I'll be nice. I'll go down to maybe 2-year space limit where you can talk about movie spoilers.
All right, there you go. Speaking of spoilers, when dads leave, they kind of spoil the kids. Like they're like not spoil like lavish them with gifts, but spoil by ruining them. And we talked about that. But a couple of reasons that dads leave. And yes, dads, we're going to be harping on you because this is a Dad Mode podcast. It's very rare that you see the mom just completely skip out on like the family of three. It's very, you do hear about it on the news, but yeah, it's relatively rare. So we're sticking with the hits here.
Okay.
And the reason why dads leave, it's, like that guy and his third kid, probably an unplanned child, and kind of feels that he's not ready for it maturity-wise or financially, and just, boop, out, you go.
Yes, it's responsibility. Yeah, it's people. They don't realize, they think sex is just, I'm just having so much fun. They don't realize, there's a good consequence.
Oh my God, that's gonna be a sound drop. Sorry, God.
There's a big consequence when you have sex, and you're rolling the dice, and sometimes.
And we're just not talking about herpes here.
Yeah, we're talking about you're creating a new life. The biology of it all, and guys are like, I'm out. That's, they just think that just walking away from this situation is what they can do. So,
and the whole thing about, I really wish that people would approach children like debt. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, but hear me out. The average for a child from birth to 18 years of age, not including college, the cost is about $500,000. That's a ballpark. That's the standard figure, right? So I wish every single parent, whether it be the guy or the gal, and they're young, they're hot, they're sort of getting it on, and they're like, man, damn. Think about if you're stuck between a condom, no condom, birth control, no birth control, pulling out, not pulling out, be like, this is gonna feel really good for about 12 seconds, but is this gonna be $500,000 good? I mean, come on.
Sorry.
I mean, it might be. I mean, in the moment, you're gonna probably think it's like worth it, even though, it isn't like it isn't like a certainty that if the little dude like that it's gonna lead to a child, but chances greatly increase.
It's moments like this when we talk about like the effects that's gonna have to a child. I mean, I'm starting to think they should start having like mandatory like vasectomies and stuff to like keep these guys deadbeat dads under control. The ones who are just
Nick. That's racist.
Whatever. It's not racist. I don't care color,
no,
whatever. I'm trying to think. I don't want to say it's like a class of anything, but like a lot of poor income dads. I mean, they just want to just go and bang people and don't care about the consequences and just leave.
That's it. Yeah, I don't think that's controversial because there is a strong correlation between poverty and number of children sired. I mean, if you look into the higher socioeconomic families, they stay intact for the most part. Dad might be banging the secretary, but that's fine. But also, they're only having 2 kids, as opposed to the lower socioeconomic family on food stamps in a double wide having 6 kids, 7.
The Walmart families.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, like, you can't say that nowadays, and I really don't know why, because it is honest, it is real, and it's not like it's trying to think of the legal term. Anyways, like it's not true. You know what I mean?
No. Yep, I understand.
Now, another reason that dads leave. Remember the song "Papa Was a Rolling Stone"?
I know a little bit, not too much.
Nick, your music trivia is kind of off this morning. It must be because it's 7 in the morning.
I'm not.
You didn't know who John Hyatt was.
I didn't know who John Hyatt. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Have a little faith in me. But, all right, so The Temptations, Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Basically a story about the dad stepping out, showing up, leaving again. Wherever he laid his head was his home. Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's what I kind of get with a lot of the dads who walk out, is that it ties in with not being mature enough, but also because they're trying to sow the wild oats, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't. Explain that in detail.
Like they don't want to be tied down to the old lady and sitting around on a Friday night when the kids are watching the Weeble Wobbles and the Teletubbies and the Cailloux and shit. They want to be out. They want to be out at the club and trying to pick up a hot 22-year-old when they're 37. Yeah, even though it's their percentages of success are very low. It's like us landing a rover on Mars, but they still want to try.
And the thing is that it does happen, and then we're left with these articles where people are paying child support. It's crazy. I mean.
And see, the 22-year-old has a lapse of judgment, or maybe she has daddy issues because her daddy wasn't around. And then all of a sudden, that 37, 42-year-old guy is like, damn, daddy, let's do this. And then there's another kid. And you think he's going to stick around? You think he's suddenly going to change his ways? You think he's suddenly going to be like, I need to stick around, raise this child, be a good father, mentor to this little bastard, literally little bastard. Now... Probably not. Now I got 2 broken homes. It's great. All because he had to get a little snaky in or hang down.
I forgot that's where the term bastard, I think, comes from, right? When the parents isn't around.
Out of wedlock kids. And it just feels like, no, this is crotchety old man talking, but it feels like the out of wedlock kids is just become the norm now. I back in the 50s, back in the 60s even, if you had your kid and wasn't married, that's like a big black mark on your family. That's when they sent you away to stay with distant cousins while you had your baby, or the shotgun weddings where that boy knocked you up in the back of my 55 Chevy. You're getting married, or I'm gonna shoot you in the knees with my Remington.
In the knees when they should be aiming at somewhere else,
boy. And the fact that we've bought into the no shaming, no judging culture, we've gotten away from that. I mean, it's actually more common now than not where people do have kids before they get married. And a lot of the couples do get married, and they do end up having happy homes, happy marriages. I can think of a couple who are listening right now. What's up, Ashley? But the trend of having kids out of wedlock and the couple doesn't stay together, or they do stay together, it doesn't matter. It's weird. It's a complete flip of how it used to be. And this is not a soapbox "Make America Great Again" speech, but just the order of marriage, make sure you're good together, make sure you're happy, then bring kids to the world, as opposed to completely flipped around. It's increasing the odds of having these kids who don't have a dad or sometimes don't have a mom and are not getting that support they need that we were talking about.
I'm trying to think of some examples in my life, people that I know that...
well, not to dig. You're not laying down on my couch. I'm not a psychologist, although I kind of am. I'm kind of like Lucy from Charlie Brown, like the nickel for therapy. What about your dad? Like, what went on there?
So my dad wasn't a absentee dad. My dad was there. Unfortunately, he was more of the...
He was around because he couldn't afford bus fare.
he was the irresponsible dad who thought lottery tickets was a way to success. I mean, to me, I use that as more of an advantage where I learned, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna kill. I'm not going to do that. I mean, sure, I do gamble, but I mean, I stay with more. I stay within my means. Dad spent a lot of. He spent a lot of his paycheck, on lotto, and lost a lot of money. So, so not a really absentee dad, but he wasn't the perfect dad. But I mean, I do think I turned out quite a bit better than most people who didn't have a father. I was smart enough to know.
Because his lessons were more not direct, but indirect of what not to do.
And in that sense, that's better than not having anyone at all. I think that, for example, I have a cousin who has a kid and the father's not in the picture. I mean, a lot of raising that child involves, it puts stress on, not just her, but like extended family and becoming more involved. And, that's, it's struggling for an entire family. Not just the son and the mother, but as I said, it's putting a lot of stress on others to fill in that gap. That it shouldn't need to.
And when dads are deadbeat, they walk out not paying child support. It creates a domino effect of stressors, right? And so you got the single mom, trying to raise these kids or multiple kids in many cases on a single mom salary, working single mom hours, and just trying to keep together while trying to be both dad and mom. And you do see some success stories, except, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that isn't working. Or she'll quickly grab whichever guy that's closest that can help out financially, fill that void that the deadbeat dad isn't paying in child support, and then maybe that's not even a good match. Maybe you're just grabbing onto the first thing that comes along, and maybe that guy isn't a good dad to those kids. He doesn't have any skin in the game, and that's where you get some of these abuse stories and some of these just really terrible stories of these kids growing up. Their stepfather either abuses them or doesn't give two shits about them, and then also B, their original dad, biological dad, doesn't care about them. What do you think that does to a psyche of, like, say, a 14-year-old girl? What's her worldview of men going to be down the line? Or a 14-year-old boy, what's his view going to be about children? It's like, oh, well, I can just go around putting my thing in tons of other things and not give two shits about my kids. America.
I'm thinking this goes one of two ways. You're going to have the good success story where the kid's like, he sees how this is how his life is, and he's going to stand up and say, no, you know what? I'm going to...
No, shall not
I'm
pass.
not going to be like my father who walks out. I'm going to be a good, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to, make good decisions and be a success story and have a successful family and do things right. He's either going to do that good movie story, or he's going to unfortunately, and I'm sure 2-1, it probably more goes this lower route, is that, oh, this is how life is. Okay, I'm going to go around and stick my thing in other people's things, and just a never-ending cycle. I think this is unfortunately a cycle that's going to keep going on, and I don't think no matter how many law rules there are that people are trying to enforce to make people pay all these child supports, I don't think it's gonna deter people from making this decision. I'm pretty confident child support will be around for quite a while.
And we see this more with the kids out of the wedlock, or everyone treating divorce like they're like the circular with the coupons, which I could go on like a 30-minute tirade about in-store coupons anyways, but it comes around every single week, and it's just like, whatever. People get divorced all the time. And so even some of my high school friends that got married like right out of high school are getting divorced, and it's just like, well, yeah, no shit.
Duh.
Good job. You got married at 18. Like, your brain's not even formed until you're probably 27. So yeah, good job on that. And then they have like 3 kids. But where is it going with this? Oh, if you're the dad and your ex-wife or your baby mama, you might hate each other's guts. But you have to have the conversation of, hey, we need to put our personal garbage aside and make sure that this kid is raised as normally as possible. Even though the broken home is kind of the norm nowadays, we want him to have the best possible growing up. So we will never argue in front of them. I will work with you. We will make sure that he or she is taken care of financially, and we'll make sure that we each have time with them. Even though you might have custody, I want to be a presence in my child's life, and we'll work with that until we're 18. And then soon as he graduates high school or she graduates high school, then we can give each other the middle finger and then walk away and never see each other again. All right, deal. On to. Ready, break.
If life worked like that, none of the TV shows that are successful today would last more than a season. Titus wouldn't be fun if they would have started off the show with Christopher Titus saying, "Hey, my mom and my dad were able to work things out, and now I'm fine." The end.
I met a new hot lady at the store today. You ready for a new mommy? Wussy. That was a great show. But all right, so just wrapping up with this, when I look at Muggsy, just looking at her in the face and the way that she laughs and the way she says "da na now," and it's just like I could never picture myself like walking out on her or abandoning her. Like, it's one of those things where maybe I'm wired differently than a lot of guys who walk out on their kids, but I don't understand how, if you're in that delivery room and then they put that little alien in your arms and you're holding it, and then you're like, all right, I gotta go. It's 2-for-1 nights down at Wild Bill's. There's gonna be a lot of ladies out there. I don't understand that thinking. I really don't, because I'm in love with my kid. I'm not gonna lie, and I simply don't understand it. Like, how you could possibly abandon this thing that is half you, and you are bringing an adult into this world. And yes, this person could be a contributor to society and a great beacon, a great leader in this world that we need a lot more of, person of high character, or they can be a human train wreck piece of shit. It's your choice. It really is, Dad.
No, I completely agree with you. It's all right. To make a quick story here, do you ever watch the TV show Maury at all? Or you know Maury, right?
You are not the father. Oh, damn.
What's funny about that show is, and typically 9 out of 10 of those episodes are about, are you the father? Are you not the father? And a lot of times you see the guys, like, when they're not the father, they're cheering and everything. But the times when they are considered the father, the DNA, the fancy DNA testing, they probably did at Walmart or whoever does their DNA.
Because you can do that now. Yeah, it's like $14.
Insane. They do these cutaways when like the mom's like, I know you're the father, and then the guy kind of like looks all kind of upset. But then they do this cutaway where the father and mother interacting with the child, and like he comes to terms with it all of a sudden, and he becomes the father like that you want to have. I mean, it's just.
This is a good Disney movie. Pixar, you got your next movie, Maury.
Disney's Maury.
I would watch
3.
I really
the
would.
Maury version.
And I don't. I understand the joy because of the different wiring. Is that if this isn't your kid, you're not going to be tied to child support payments that you may not pay, but judge is going to tell you have to pay anyways. And you're not responsible for this kid, so you can go out and just try and create more kids, because I mean this guy probably not best practices when it comes to the ladies, if you know what I mean.
I understand.
Yeah. But how you solve it, it's something that's going to be complicated, and it's going to take multiple generations to undo this bell being rung, because it is shaming. You do have to shame some of these dads who go around and knock up like six women, have 7 kids with 6 different women, like a small percentage of the NFL players, NBA guys. Like, you hear the stories all the time. He signed a $100 million contract, but is broke because he has 6 kids by 5 baby mamas. Just wrap it up. It's like, are you kidding me? And to make it the norm again, just everyone has to do their part. Be married, stay together when you have kids, or if you do get divorced, or if you do separate, make sure that the kid is supported and getting enough mommy and daddy time. And you don't make it all about your personal issues with the baby mama or the baby daddy. Make it about the baby, huh? How about that? How about put the kid first before your own personal shit?
I'm gonna do the slow clap. Are you ready? Ready? Clap. Yeah, thank you. I totally agree with you. Good choice.
I mean, this is the unintended consequence of living in a society where we don't judge. And I get it. It began as a thing is like, hey, it's slow Jimmy who has to take the short bus, has a class down by the boiler room. Yeah, don't judge him. Except it's morphed into, hey, that deadbeat dad who walked down on his kids and is sticking his thing in every single chick down at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's a bad example. Wild Bills, sure. Picking up a lot of chicks at Buffalo Wild Wings. Yeah, we can't judge him either, because it's just a complete blanket of non-judgment, and this is how you get cesspools, and it's bad. Mm-hmm. It's no bueno.
Yeah, very bad.
Stay tuned Fox News is next. Yeah, there you go. All right, what's coming up with you? What's going on with the Nick and Son podcast?
I've been doing a lot of episodes about let's see, I just did an episode this last Wednesday. I was talking about the last Batman vs Superman movie. I'm gonna continue talking about latest new shows, new updates on movies. We're coming into the 2-season finales of TV shows, and they're releasing what shows are gonna be brought on next season, what shows are not, and I'm just
not judging is how we get movies like Batman versus Superman.
It wasn't that bad, folks. It was not that bad.
Wonder Woman deserves her own movie.
She's gonna get her own movie next year,
because she deserves it, man. It'll be good. All right, this show, Dad Mode Podcast, available on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at Dad Mode Pod, me at Andy Carlson Show, or Nick at Nickerson. It's last one, hashtag NSFW.
Hey, wait, what?
Whoa. Website is dadmodepod.com. But for Nickerson, I'm Andy Carlson saying, be a man, be a father, go Dad Mode, and we'll see you next time.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go Dad Mode. The music is created and produced by Deeb. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/Deeb.